Hello, my name is Nyasha and I'm excited to join you for today's masterclass on human-centered design. Together, we're going to explore why, in a digitally connected world, designing with people at the center can help you as a creative or social entrepreneur to better engage with a customer base and community around your product. But first, I'd like you to take a moment to answer the following question. When was the last time that you reached out to a customer to ask them what they need from you? Take a moment to think about it and then hold that thought. We're going to need it for later. As a creative or social entrepreneur, your goal is to connect with the community around your talent in a way that not only makes you a living, but also somehow changes something or has an impact on the community that you serve. This could be a social or economic impact, or it could be the emotional impact that you have on your customer base through the experience of your products and services. Take, for example, a Nigerian social entrepreneur who has developed an app that connects rural farmers to markets for their products during the COVID-19 pandemic. She's having an economic impact on the farming communities that she serves by enabling them to survive through the pandemic. On the other hand, a creative entrepreneur, whether you are someone who designs accessories, creates music, or teaches dance, also has a significant impact on the communities that you provide services and products for. This could be through enabling them to express their unique identity or to experience joy and physical well-being. This role that you hold within your community as a creative or a social entrepreneur requires you to consciously engage with your audience in a way that enables you to understand them. This is where human-centered design comes in. As an entrepreneur, you are solving a problem for your customer through the product or the service that you provide for them. Human-centered design is a creative approach to problem solving that places people at the center of every step of the process. It can have a significant impact on how your community engages with your work, and also make sure that you are doing the right thing in the right way to best serve and meet the needs of your customer base. The most important part of human-centered design is the mindset. And that's a good thing because it means that everybody can get engaged in the human-centered design process. The entrepreneur who provides their products and services through the lens of human-centered design is someone who has the following mindsets. Firstly, they are radically user-centered. They design with people in mind and not technology. Secondly, they are open to new and sometimes even surprising results. They work in a way that allows them to adapt and learn rather than implementing from a master plan. And thirdly, they are focused on the long-term impact and legacy of the products and services that they provide. Technology has had a transformative impact on the way we live and work. It has shifted our ability to connect and engage with new audiences, many of whom we would never have been able to reach before. But also, it's allowed us to have a deeper relationship with our existing communities. With this in mind, we're going to explore the concept of human-centered design together with the technologies that enable us to reach out to and connect with our audiences. But first, I'd like you to consider 3 hurdles that can get in the way of you authentically connecting and engaging with the community around your work. first hurdle is getting caught up in the noise of technology. There are more than 1.2 billion websites online today, and that number is constantly changing, even as I talk to you now. That's an exponential amount of images, text, audio, video, all available to us online. With all these resources available, it can be easy to get caught up in the noise in a way that disconnects us from the audience who are truly interested in our products and services. Because of this, it's really important that we curate the internet and the channels of communication that we're using to best serve our purpose. The second way that we can get distracted from connecting with the authentic audience for our work is by ignoring our context. Take, for example, the fact that only 40% of the African population are somehow connected to the internet. This percentage varies between countries, from Kenya, where almost 85% are connected, to Malawi, where less than 20% of the population are connected to the internet. And even then, often our connection is unstable. In Zimbabwe, for example, just over a year ago, we had almost 12-hour power cuts every day. It's almost impossible to run a consistent, digitally enabled business in this context. And yet, this difference does not necessarily have to be perceived as a deficit. It can also be an opportunity for innovation. But if we are ignoring the context that surrounds us, we miss out on the opportunity to innovate and create for our community. The third and final hurdle that can prevent us from authentically connecting with the audience around our work does not have to do with technology. It has to do with mindset. What I mean is the belief that the products and the services that we are offering have to be fully developed. In other words, perfect, before we present them to the market. This is a myth, and in fact, it can be a costly myth. Instead, consider getting your customers involved in providing feedback as soon as you have an idea, or even better yet, asking them to generate ideas for products and services together with you. The research shows that companies who engage their customers in the co-creation process are more relevant on the market and end up increasing their sales in the long term. Not only this, but customers who have been a part and having a stake of designing a product or a service are also more willing to pay a higher price point for that service or product. Take, for example, large companies like IKEA or Coca-Cola, who have developed co-creation platforms where customers can provide ideas for products and services that should be introduced to their range. Or musicians who use Twitter polls to generate crowdsourced ideas for their albums. Not only are they having the benefit of the insights of their customers for their products and services, but they're also creating a dedicated and loyal customer base in the process. So, how do we go about getting our customers and community more deeply engaged in our work? Let me very briefly explain how the human-centered design process works. It all starts with empathy. Empathy means being able to put yourself in the shoes of your customer or the end user of your product or your service. It means understanding what motivates them, what challenges them, and what engages them about what you plan to provide. Then, once you have collected these insights and resources, it's a matter of coming back to the drawing board and developing ideas around the solutions that you could generate to meet these needs. This step can either be done within your team or with the involvement of your customers in the co-creation of ideas. After that, the next step is to create a simple demonstration of the product or the service or the solution that you plan to provide, which is known as a prototype. And then finally to go back to your customers with the prototype for feedback and testing to improve it. In today's masterclass, we're going to look at how to go about the first step of the human-centered design process, empathy-driven research. We're going to explore the tools and the methods that you can use to better engage with your customer and the community of support around your work. We're going to look at how you can use technology as a platform to support your purpose rather than a force to drive your decisions. And we're going to explore what it means to us to design with African people at the center. I look forward to taking this learning journey with you. See you soon.